Uh, Let me just appreciate first all of you and your perspectives. What I am stunned by is how much wisdom is with the people who are on this call. I have appreciated many of you people. I mean, like, for example, Nancy, I have been familiar with your work for 30 years, before I met you in RA's home last year. And of course, Dinesh, you have been like my brother and partner in crime from 1990. Or, so it is like really amazing to listen to you freshly. And I thank you for that. And again, Arya, like what you were saying, it is about stepping back from my strength. One thing which kind of provoked me a little bit is to say, what can I do? What can one person I do? You are not one person. And the second thing is that what you are doing is about inspiring, igniting, provoking, collaborating with people around the world, like various people who are on this call, from Ivory Coast, Africa, to United States, to Bangalore, India, to Portland, or anywhere, Illinois. If you think about it, how could you and how did you bring this global audience to these kinds of things? Maybe wiser is to actually take away the attention from what I can do to what is it that I can help other people so that they can do. So it is no longer about I, but it is about through the world, through others, what difference am I already making? But I think that acknowledgement that you are a mentor and a coach and you are a person who is bringing all these wonderful circles, and you are wiser. It is just that you need to bring it from subconscious to the conscious, and that namaste is for you, that is who is within you. So I think that is something that comes up, number one. And moving along the same thought, it is like it comes down to letting go and being present and feeling connected, and recognizing that the telephone person, or setting up a new house, moving from Texas to California, or you know uh, going through ups and downs and the transition points. I suppose ultimately there are only three ways in which we can be connected with other people, right? One is through our communication, of course, listening more strongly than speaking, even though we think communication means what am I saying. Second is the actions, both, of course, even the speech is an act, is a speech act. And third is the decisions. How are our beliefs and previous experiences shaping our decisions at an unconscious and subconscious level, even though we ourselves may not be conscious of that? That is the three things for me. If I look at it and say, wiser might be whatever I have on my plate, can I bring all of who I am to this moment? Whether you call it being present, whether it is connecting, whether it is embracing, whether it is accepting, I think that is where I'm finding a lot more joy. That is one. Second, last point is, I just came back from spending a week with kids between 10 and 18. I was in Percy, about 5 hours north of San Jose, and there were about 35 kids and about 10 adults, including counselors. We were spending time for a week reflecting, doing meditation, yoga, or playing and looking at youth camp. And I felt, what did it take so long? Why did I have to wait for age 59 to start engaging a lot more with the children, because that is where the rubber meets the road for me. Corporate, all of that, I did it because I wanted money, I wanted name, I wanted recognition as somebody, I think Nancy, you mentioned about. Now I'm realizing that is where, if I can talk to a 8-year-old and a 10-year-old and help them to think differently when they confront their next small mini crisis, or stand up for what is important for them and make a decision about, like they were saying, hey, we are Indian kids, we have two major options given by parents: become an engineer or become a doctor. But now, can I be a journalist? Can I just be a social activist? Can I be a teacher? I think if we can give children a courage to find their own path, not being influenced by stronger, larger, older patients, I felt like I'm finding fulfillment. Being wiser is to listen. So that is where I'm finding the joy of discovering it is nothing to do with what I do. It is just listening to the world and responding to what the universe wants.
Wonderful pulling together. We have actually 5 minutes for any further questions or reflections that anyone in the circle might want to offer.
I'll chime in here briefly. I was just at something called a Jam for Art and Social Change. And when I signed up because I liked the topic, and I got there and found out the average person was about 25 years old. So I was cast into the elder role. But what I learned from these relatively young people, who they're with a group called YES, which stands for Youth for Environmental Sanity. And they had a beautifully orchestrated week-long event that really gave me hope. And they were from all over the world, and they meet all over the world. So that was just so inspiring. And I did a lot of listening and a lot of learning, and I didn't have to come up with any particular wisdom. I just had to have a good time, which I certainly did.
Wonderful.
Sounds like you're hanging out with both the elders and the youngers, Nancy. Yeah. Anyone else have a question or reflection?
Yeah, Arya, this is
Ravi.
Ravi.
Ravi, go ahead. Yeah.
I think Lakshmi ji has something to share too.
Okay, Ravi was. Oh, Lakshmi.
Hi, this is Lakshmi. Yeah, Lakshmi and Prabhu. It's beautiful to hear all of you talk about. I think the main thing that came to my mind is listening. It's the biggest thing, where it's not hearing the words, you are listening other person, giving yourself entirely. When you are listening, you are not really doing anything other than just being for them and listening. And I think that will open up a lot of energy. And the other person can be who they are, and they can open up. And as Prasad was talking about kids having options, I think that's where parents and adults can help children just to be themselves by being there for them, just listening. I think the art of listening is really very valuable. Thank you.
Thank you, Lakshmi. I'm glad you could show up a bit here, and you've got a lot to contribute to this community. So I look forward to future conversations and participation from you. Thank you. Ravi, you were going to speak.
Yeah, thanks, Arya. The one you mentioned, Arya, about taking action, that of what each single steps or small steps every day, and also the larger purpose, that stuck a chord with me, because of the desire to do it also should translate into action. And also what I feel is when you have ambitions or desire to make a social good, that drives you more than just you if you're doing for yourself. It's a personal drives and are part of a bigger journey. They both complement. It's not like one at the expense of the other, because you need to do with what yourself and then go for the common good. So that your action and action orientation speaks a lot, and that's what needed. That's what I want to just say.
Thank you, Ravi.
Arya, I would like to, this call just gave me an idea. We should try to have one of the calls where we get the warring factions come on the call. And like from between Palestinians and Israelis, or Indians and Pakistanis, or the South Koreans and the North Koreans, we can really facilitate that, or we can participate in that and see how we listen to each other in that hostile environment.
An interesting thought. We could get input from people who do that regularly, from people like Ofu or Lenin Libby Troutman. And, I suspect that there is a lot behind the scenes to make that work. But, Dinesh, if you're interested, let's talk some more and think about that. Thank you.